My most recent trip to Moab was filled with lots of mountain biking and climbing. Let's go ahead and take a look at what that looks like. What you're seeing here is Slick Rock in Moab. Now, while this may look easy, I think the wide angle of this GoPro probably gives the illusion that the angles that you're going up and down aren't as bad, but they were pretty bad. Most of Slick Rock felt relatively anaerobic. You know, you were going up a hill and then down a hill and then back up a really steep hill. And while there was a lot of grip, it really didn't help your legs burn off the lactic acid with every up and down hitting another up and down again. And the scene you're about to see here is something that occurred a lot on Slick Rock near the end. We walked it. It was not glorious. We pretty much had to walk elements of the last 2 miles that had sharp uphills. And while I'm glad that I did it, I don't know if I'd want to do this again. How are you feeling?
Lightheaded.
After a little bit of rest, we are up to Castleton Tower. Now, this is one of the climbs that my climbing partner really wanted to do. It's on the 50 classic climbs list, I believe by Steve Roper. And the approach is heinous. It's about 1,500 feet of uphill descent in about 1.5 miles, and it took us a good part of about 2 hours to get up there. Rough?
It's uphill.
Now, the climb we're doing is named Coors Ingalls. It's on the south side of the tower, and it is a 5.9 plus. So in these following shots, you will see us getting up to the base of the climb, starting the climb, and I'll leave the rest to what happens in this video.
You're putting the pro in where your feet want to go.
Yeah. So pitch 3. So it turns out the third pitch of that is sandbagged. It definitely feels worse than 5.9 plus. So we bailed.
The desert, it's like those pretty long approaches with cacti all over the place.
Say that too, yeah.
Yeah.
They're not quick walks.
So we were stumbling around in the dark for another hour or two to get to the car, and we got back home around midnight. For some reason, he didn't want to go climbing with me anymore. That was the last climb we did.
So now the long process of the descent has started, and we are just going to make it all the way back to the car now. Now, it wouldn't be a classic climb without some inclement weather chasing us, so we had to descend quickly. Yeah, we should probably get down before the rain hits. We ended the day at Sunset Grill, and after a little food and drink, time to prepare for the next day. The next day, we headed to Indian Creek, and we were kind of wanting a little bit of more of a chill day after Castleton Tower. So decided which climbs we want to scope out and maybe give it a slight attempt at, and headed out for the wall. Luckily for Indian Creek, most of the approaches are quite short in comparison to, say, Castleton Tower. Walls are nice and tall with splitter cracks and usually a bolted anchor at the top. So it felt more like sport climbing with trad gear. Although the climbs are a little bit tougher, a lot of the cracks were a lot more fun and straightforward versus kind of the pathfinding that's required for some of the more classic climbs. So, did a little bit of the run up and down at Indian Creek, and just try to get a few more climbs under our belt. Afterwards, we drove around a little bit to scope out the other climbs and see what the other crags look like. And some of them had slightly bigger approaches, but it was good to see the rest of the climbing area and try to figure out what we want to do next time. For the last day as a crew, we decided to mountain bike together and rented bikes to go to Navajo Loop. Now, this climbing area is right before Canyonlands, and it's got a quite different terrain in comparison to, say, Slick Rock. It's more straightforward, but a lot more varied in its sand, trees, dirt, and just rocks and all the cactus around that you can land in by accident. And but the views are quite different, and so you can see some of those here.
There's a trail down there, see?
So I guess you
You're
just
gonna go up and kind of twist.
no
in the
need to
air
ride the
and run
dome.
Like this.
Ride the dome.
Oh yeah, go like this.
It's like a velodrome.
Oh, there you go. Nice speed, ride the inside curve, come down there. Yeah, you just keep going lower. Yeah.
Luckily, after a certain point, the majority of the trail is downhill, so you can see that starting here. And what would it be without a fall, which you're about to see here? Little steeper than I remember. Definitely got the front wheel stuck. And again, like the other day, it wouldn't be a interesting Moab day without being chased around by the weather. So here we go.
Because that's where we're all trying to get back to, aren't we? I think so.
At this point, we are starting to descend to get back to the car, hopefully before it rains or something else. And you can see the start of the descent with the beautiful line here, and trying to just kind of desperately get back to the cars as soon as possible and descend, get on the trail, get back to the road, and get back to the car before that storm hits. Now what you're seeing here is my favorite part of Navajo Loop. It's the kind of the mini switchbacks as you get into the main descent, and it's basically at least 4 or 5 minutes worth of nearly straight downhill, which is great. I am taking a little bit more gingerly here because I have fallen. I don't remember what the terrain feels like. Now here we're at the sign where we start turning off to get back onto the main road. You can see the storm starting to come in. And of course, it wouldn't be a perfect ending until it starts hailing on you as you get back to the parking lot. With torrential rain coming down in Moab, it's time to head home. Now, before I head out, go to one of my favorite breakfast places right next to the hotel, get a burrito, and hightail it back to Austin, Texas. Until next time, Moab.